Hi, it's Alex. I'm presenting my Putting It All Together project on MindMeister, which is a really cool site for creating mind maps, such as the one I've created here. Uh, I was kind of turned on to the idea of mind maps earlier this school year, and I've used them a few times in my classes, and they seem to really work well. So MindMeister is a good tool for that. You can share it easily, export it easily, um, and you can use it for free to get started. So here we go. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about the composition unit that I imagine teaching online. It would focus on three different objectives. The first would be to learn the basic shots and rules of compositions, then to use new knowledge to portray an intangible noun in a video. Oh, typo there. And then the last would be to storyboard and plan effectively. This is one of the introductory units in the TV course. I would have a synchronous introductory lesson, like the lesson that I demoed earlier in the course. Be very similar to that. It'll probably be a little bit more involved though. I'd also provide a variety of links and resources to help with guided note sheets, and then it would focus on two video projects: intangible noun, which is mentioned in the objective, and basic shots, which is just the kids practicing getting the basic types of shots. I generally talk about the TV course in this class just because it offers kind of a different perspective. So, philosophy and roles. I really was intrigued by this guide on the side way of teaching that Rice talked about in the book. This idea of having a presence while not having a presence, or having a presence while not necessarily physically being there, is something that I found really interesting. So I want to have a presence in the course to diminish transactional distance. I think by having synchronous lessons, post videos, emails, constant chat, and feedback, it will give the kids a sense that I am there and I'm guiding them. The roles that Rice also talked about, instructor and advisor, kind of lump those together, provide feedback and ideas through emails, and work to hone the skills. A lot of these kids are coming into TV with not a lot of experience, so providing a lot of feedback and giving them ideas and helping to model the thinking when making a video will help. Lay out clear expectations on camera use and expectations for projects and the schedule. All that is good practice, especially when we're online. Scaffold online learning, experience, and use of software. Again, expectations are key. And then what probably most excites me about online learning is learner autonomy. I really am interested in how we can motivate students by giving them freedom. And then use authentic assessments to increase their motivation. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the tools that I would plan on using in this online unit. I really like Desire to Learn. I think the way that the class is structured in this course is really excellent. I like the Collaborative Ultra. I think it's a great way to organize and structure a course. So I like to use that. I use Schoology now, and the district does, but there isn't that Collaborative Ultra element that I really like. I also have found that I really like making screencasts, so I definitely want to start using those in my classes more, and would use them in as an online teacher a lot. Record videos and mass emails. I really like how Dr. Drian will record himself to introduce a lot of the units, so I'd copy that. And I would definitely use asynchronous tools for feedback. Student feedback is important for each other's work, and also for them to reflect on the process, and then also to gather information. I like crowdsourcing information, mind maps, that kind of stuff. So I would use something like this to gather information. Also got to use synchronous lessons for lectures and introductions. I was more than pleased with how much I enjoyed the synchronous lesson we did earlier in this class, and I would definitely want to do something like that pretty regularly with an online class. As far as management of the students and the assessment, with management, expectations are clear. Having a continual presence, whether that's psychological instead of physical, but students like to know that the teacher's there and caring about what's going on and how they're learning. So I think it would be a challenge, but one that I would definitely want to take on, increasing that psychological presence in an online class, and something that I can work on now. One of the other things that I found interesting from Rice was when they talked about online is just as effective and not more so, because we get to focus on what the students can do. I would want the assessments to be as authentic and meaningful as possible. One of the cool things with TV is that productions, they can do video projects that involve the community or friends and family, so something that really means something to them. I would, again, have clear guidelines, expectation, and clear grading criteria. The authentic assessments are also really great because it gives the chance for students to share their work and to get feedback. One of the things that I'd really want to promote with an online class is student feedback, student interaction, whether that's crowdsourcing or watching each other's videos, having discussions. I try to get a lot of discussions on Schoology going about letting the kids share cool videos that they're finding, having them connect, looking for types of edits as they're watching TV at home, that kind of stuff. So I really try to get the students talking with each other, learning from each other, not just me and their research. I can help improve those discussions, specifically what Rice talked about in Chapter 6, was making sure that the students really understand what it is we're doing. I think some of the discussions I've tried to lead in the past that have failed have been from lack of understanding what the purpose is. And maybe having it online will give me a chance to kind of like type it out and work it out, and really fine-tune the questions, having those good questions higher up on the Bloom's taxonomy. Get the students talking about what it means to make videos and what makes a good video. All right, last thing that I'm going to talk about are the ahas and the questions that I still have. So let's start with the ahas. One of the biggest things that I took away from this is that online teaching is very similar to face-to-face teaching, but also different. Rice talks about successful teachers are educators, facilitating learning, project managers, instructional designers, and e-learning experts. And I think that, those things work for the brick and mortar classrooms and the online classrooms. We wear a lot of different hats, and online just lets us do those in different interpretations. When I did the synchronous lesson, I really got to understand how personal and connected an online class can feel, which it just made me think back to the times when I would Skype friends, or, you still feel connected to them even if you aren't physically with them. So I think I was just reminded and somewhat surprised about how an online classroom can still feel connected and personal. I was also blown away by the number of tools and resources there are, and it seems to be that they're growing continuously. And then I was also surprised how involved the teacher is in its more challenging nature. One of the first weeks when we read that online teaching was harder than face-to-face teaching, I was a little taken back. I wasn't offended or anything. I was just kind of surprised, and I tried to think about it more, and it makes a lot of sense because a lot of the times when I go into the building in the morning, I can, adjust on the fly, I can adapt, I can do a bunch of different things, but online teaching, man, you really got to have everything lined up and ready to go, and I really learned that with the synchronous lesson. Some of the questions I still have, most of these are more personal. How can I incorporate more online learning into my face-to-face classroom? I'm thinking about incorporating more screencasts, maybe some of these resources that I learned about through this class, but how can I create more of a blended environment? Also, what is the future on online education and cyber days in particular. Um, my district was one of the ones that tried the cyber flexible instruction days when we had snow. I don't think we're going to have any more this year, but it's interesting to see how that goes and if online learning will be start taking on more of a mass role. And then what opportunities will I me specifically moving forward to have blended online courses? My school now does offer some of the online courses. Uh, I think they use Odysseyware, which I haven't had a chance to play around with or attempt to use. Um, but I just wonder maybe I can offer an online TV course, or maybe I'll get to teach one of the online English courses. Just something that, I feel more open to now moving forward. So there's my putting it all together using MindMeister for the last time in this course. It's Alex signing out. Thanks, and I enjoyed it. Bye.